So I'm Andy at Zenico Racing. We're here to give you some help and advice, and we've managed to grab the legendary Dan Holland.
Hi.
Thank you for your time, Dan. So Dan Holland is probably one of the top 5 race teams, I'd say, in the UK. We've gone against them. We can't win them. But we're going to talk to Dan about how you as a parent can use a race team to its best. You know, what sort of prices that would be, and how you can progress your drivers through using the experience of someone like Dan. So Dan, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. So race teams, there's lots of them out there. As we know, I always say there are some sharks, there's some dodgy race teams out there who are looking at you as a walking wallet as a parent. We've seen you race, we know the kids that race with you. You're very, very well respected, and I really appreciate your time coming and speak to us.
No.
So where do you see, so let's break it down. So let's go to grassroots racing. We're not talking about championship, UKC British or Rotax Max. We're talking about grassroots drivers. What can a race team give to a parent to give their driver that little boost?
I think the first thing that springs to mind is convenience. I know when we raced as dad and lad, and we needed a bit more help and support. Some of it's convenience of supplying literally, whether it be the awning space, advice, but sometimes the transport and the preparation of the kart as well. So it means you don't necessarily need that van and you can turn up in your car. If they're providing that sort of prep and storage and transport and tent space, that's it's a big way off your mind to have to buy all of that as well. So it's convenient. The knowledge side is basically if they know the local tracks you're racing at, or even if you're travelling a few different sort of club tracks, they've got the setups, they've got sort of some base data on that. They've also then got some of the hopefully drivers in the same category as you, so some teammates. So with the other team drivers, you can sort of glean data and information on that, so you can sort of help to improve the driving, but also fine-tune the chassis and setup. Even at that sort of grassroots level, that's being done by many smaller teams.
Yeah, so this is like where we struggle when we've been national is I haven't got the experience that you and your team have got. So I'm turning up, to Three Sisters with Zach. I've never raced there before. I don't know his setup. I haven't got that knowledge. And this is when a race team is invaluable, isn't it? Because you have that knowledge. So if I was grassroots, I've just started out, I'm dad and lad, I want to think about going to a race team. So can I bring my kart to you, or have I got to have a Lando Norris kart to come and use you as a team?
So with DHR, we're a strong brand for Lando Norris. We're like the official distributor.
We have one, fantastic kart.
Yeah, we're the official distributor for the UK, and we're the main sort of European race team for that as well. So we would like, for an image and also sort of everything to be sort of in keeping, so yeah, the blue LN kart for us. As a driver joining us initially, maybe you can get away with 1 or 2 races on an OTK kart, just to help with that transition. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they've just bought a new car and it's not worked out, so they want to move karts, and they've maybe got a green Tony kart. So we'll maybe put our stickers on that, work with it for a few races, and then we'll look to sort of either part exit or sell it on and get them on a blue one. I think sometimes I see drivers who come in on a different coloured car. Naturally, we put them in the corner of the tent because it doesn't look quite as sort of pretty. So we're putting it in the corner, and then the customer feels a bit in the corner, and the driver's like, I don't feel quite part of the team yet. I'm not the same as everybody else. So I think the sooner you can integrate into the team and just take on board what they're doing, the better.
Well, it's the company's like Zenico branding. We don't go anywhere without Zenico branding on, and it's the same as LN. But that's interesting because we do get asked that, by parents say, well, if I go to this team, I've got to buy their car straight away. I don't know if I'm going to like them or not. The fact that you're willing to take on a parent in another OTK to say, okay, let's give you a try, and go, what about people who haven't got a kart? So if someone's going from, I don't know, they've been a ride and drive, they've been doing Club 100, DRS, and they want to progress into owner karting, could they come to you and get that full package?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do an arrive and drive package. For our European customers, that's sort of a very common sort of system that they do, but also even for UK guys, just trying out. So if it's something they think they want to do, but they're not sure, or they don't know if necessarily we're the right team for where they're racing, they can do a full arrive and drive package, literally from all the equipment, the mechanic and literally just turn up in their car, maybe with a race helmet, and we provide all that. We've also sort of just done this spin-off, and you might have seen it, the Kartmania here of the sort of DHR Karting Academy, which is designed maybe for that Club 100 customer, or that customer doing sort of corporate karting and wants to get into sort of owner-driver karting. We've done sort of a cost-effective way from our site at Wilton Mill to allow people to come and experience a proper sort of DHR professional race car with the race team and get that sort of full taste today with that, whether that be just with our mechanic or with actually one of our driver coaches as well, and they can even drive around on track with them as well. So we're offering that sort of, for that sort of transition basically from Club 100 to race team basically, as a bit of an intro. So
okay, that's really good. So if you are coming from that arrive and drive, you have the opportunity to go to a top team like yourself. So if I was going to do that, then how much would a test day at Wilton, fantastic track, but how much would it cost me to come and bring Zach, for example, from a couple of hundred, say, right, Dan, give us a test for a day? How much would that be? So
sure, if you've got no equipment and you want to come and have a sort of an experience day with sort of the race team, Karting Academy, we're doing that at 475 plus VAT, basically, for an arrive and drive day. Separate to that, you have your sign-on fee with the track. So for a Wilton Mill, you'd have, I think it's 50-60 pounds for the track fee.
55.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have that there, and then any damage, hopefully there's none. But if there's any damage at the end of the day, you'd have to cover the cost of that as well, which is normal practice for owner-driver karting. We offer sort of a little up on that. So basically, if you want one of the kart coaches, either a senior team manager or one of our top racing drivers, basically, who can do the off-track coaching for the day, that's 595 plus VAT for the day for that. So just to get, maybe you want to make the most out of the experience, have a bit of coaching as well as just rather than just having the experience of driving the kart, you want the coaching as well.
And that's quite good then, because then the parent can go, where does my child sit? What do we need to do to progress? What's our journey going to be? Okay, so another one for you. I'm an owner driver. I mechanic my boy. I want to come to learn to you. Can I come to your tent and mechanic myself with your advice, or do I have to use your mechanics?
No, I would rather, I'd absolutely rather you mechanic yourself, because I think you can save the money and the cost of that, and hopefully do more days, which is going to in turn make your driver better. So I think the more track time you do, the better the driver gets. It's like any sport, playing football every day compared to playing once a month. So it's exactly the same in motorsport. Obviously there's a bigger cost related to it, unfortunately, but I'm more than happy for family members to mechanic, or parents or brothers and sisters. We've got even in our team mechanic. And our team's probably made up of 50-50 of a professional mechanic that we're supplying, or a family member that the customer's supplying. As long as they can keep the car to a nice clean standard, make the changes that are relevant for the session. The team are giving instruction and advice on what changes we think should make, having watched the session or discussed with the driver.
Well, it's good, because that's going to save you money as parents, because when we first started, I made mistakes, and I learned from the team of how to mechanic, and I took that forward in our karting career. Now let's go championship level. Now, as a dad, when I speak to parents, if you're going to go championship racing, my first advice is go and speak to a team, because it's quite brutal, and you're going against the best of the best, and you want the best opportunity for your child. So it is your budget what you can do. So next year, not sure what we're going to do, but if I was to come and use Dan Holland as our race team, you think about it, your average UKC weekend, you practice on a Friday, part practice on a Saturday, you race on a Sunday. So what sort of packages is out there available for a parent to come and do that with you, to give them that heads up and helping hand in a championship race?
Yeah, they can do it as an owner driver. As I say, they can own all their equipment, and typically we store all the equipment for our drivers. So if they do own the chassis and sort of roll cab, which forms their sort of workstation in the tent, we sort of generally transport that, store that at our workshop, prep the equipment before we go and go and set up at the race weekend. So you can do that as an owner driver. That's the most cost-effective way, especially if you're doing quite a lot of days, because if you do the arrive and drive package and you're paying basically to hire all the equipment every single day, effectively every weekend, it's going to add up. So basically, you've got the convenience of not owning and having that initial cost, but you've got higher costs sort of ongoing. So we can do sort of both options for a national race. We can do that at sort of club level. We can certainly do it at national and even international level. So it's what's right for you and the amount of races you're doing. And cost-wise can escalate from a team fee of for example, a 275 plus VAT is a team fee we look to charge for the awning space advice and stuff. And depending if your arrive and drive package includes tyres and things like that, it can be around, if not over £1,000 a day, even in Rotax.
But then you get a lot from makers. You know, championship, it costs a lot of money to go and do it. You got your accommodation. You want to give your kids the best chance and go. If I was to go and do UKC again, you know, I think I'd be different to how I was going to do it.
Sure.
But my God, we learned so much.
Yes.
We still couldn't catch you. Still couldn't catch you.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing, engines. So race team engines. I know you're part of time. You know that your engines are phenomenal. So can we rent an engine from you?
Yes, yeah, we rent engines sort of independently as well, so outside of the team.
Outside the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an advert for us. That's our marketing tool, as well as obviously it's commercial, it's part of the business, but every sort of engine with our sticker on is an advert. So if you're outside the team and you're renting a time racing engine because you want part of the, you know, you want good kit, and you can also then get access to us for information on how to set that up, whether it be sprocket or jetting and things like that during the race meeting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that then gives you some good sneaky information on the race team and how we're running things on our setups. But it also gives you the best kit, and you're our advert. Once you're on track with that, and you're going fast basically, which results basically are our biggest advert. But people are going to say, oh, what's that like then? And you say, hopefully, yeah, that's great. The engine's really, really good. But we've had loads of good help and feedback from the engine people as well, and not just us. There's obviously other engine service centres that do the same sort of thing.
You see, I wish I knew that when we was doing National Jet. I went and bought the engines. It's more cost effective for me to buy the engines rather than rent them.
Yeah.
But to give my boy a better chance, after we bought our race engine, after time it needed rebuild, we couldn't afford to do that because it was obviously with racing and the cost involved. We're thinking back, I should have really come and hired a race engine for those championship races and then run my engine at that level.
That's absolutely possible. And to get access to, like I say, all of those things. And we've got a big armada of engines from basically our European international racing we do. We have a lot of customers there, and they're all arrive and drive. They don't own the equipment. So we need probably 3-4 engines per customer I sort of allocate before I go over there. So in the UK, maybe where our customers half of the customers own their equipment, we have a lot of surplus, really top quality engines that then, independent drivers can get their hands on.
That's interesting. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you as a parent. Dan, thank you so much. I think my advice to you, pick up the phone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Give you a call, have that conversation, see what options are available.
Yeah.
And see what suits you. And my advice to parents when using any team, go and do a test with a team because, we know Dan Holland, we know he's a very good team, but you've got to fit in with that team. You've got to be comfortable as a family, your kids got to be comfortable with your mechanics and things. So do shop around, try different teams, but definitely give Dan a call. Dan, thank you so much for your help today.
You're very welcome.
Much appreciated.
No
absolutely fine. We're going to be going live a little bit later with time engines, about when you should redo a rebuild and actually how much that costs you. So kill the stream, we'll see you on YouTube.